Hello? Okay. You see a little bit of lines in there because I started drawing and I thought I had hit record, but I didn't. So I am going to start again. Okay, no problem. This is working now. Yeah. So what we are going to do is work towards that picture in here. Okay. And we are going to work through the use of planes, shapes, maybe a little bit of continuous line, and color at the end. Yeah, we're going to start introducing pastels. Okay. Yeah, put it in the right place. So in this particular case, because we have so much going on in there, remember you can always alter how much of the portrait you want to see in there. Before I was doing a demonstration and the paper was very small, so it was no point for me to add this bit in here. So I ended up just using this bit. But in this paper it's pretty big and I really like the picture, so I'm going to introduce, I actually like the fact that this becomes almost like a tree. So I'm going to use a little bit of the sky in my drawing. So instead of working straight with continuous line, which we could because it's a very big size, I want to try a different approach because there is not only one way of doing things. So this approach is going to be working with geometrical shapes, thinking about the features of the face as geometrical shapes, and a little bit of launching lines, and then we're going to start blocking up the values, thinking about the light, medium value and dark happening on the face. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do, just notice that this face is slightly at an angle. She's not looking completely vertical. If you put a vertical line in there, you can see it's not working. And therefore, everything is going to be slightly tilted to one side. Yeah? So take that into account. If you do that in here, your brain will always try to make the face stand this way. Look at the neck. You don't really see the neck, you see the shoulders because the way she took the picture, the camera is slightly higher up. So that area is missing because of the foreshortening. So there is a neck, of course, but we cannot see it. So don't let your brain do this. The neck is missing, you don't see it, and the shoulders are coming from the face, yeah? And then she's slightly tilted to one side, as we said, but also her face is slightly looking more to the left than is to the right. So that's why we can see the ear a little bit more, and we don't see the ear on the left side. So all these things are elements we have to take into account when we do the portrait, yeah? Don't worry if it goes wrong. Whenever it goes wrong, we just adjust it. We are not carving in stone, we are working with charcoal and pastels on paper, yeah? So I'm going to start with the oval shape I understand as the outside shape of the face, making sure I keep the slightly angle in there, yeah? So I'm going to make that. And then I'm going to place more or less, which I think happens with the flowers. I will end up moving this later on if I need to, yeah? Now I'm going to start with this bit in here. I'm going to put what I think are the flowers doing in there. And how far is from the line of the flowers, the line of the glasses, something in there, yeah? And I'm going to start adding elements. So I think glasses are doing like that. Notice that the glasses are not round. They have this kind of shape, yeah? Slightly more subtle than this kind of shape. And also notice that the eyes are not right, and this one in particular is not right in the middle, is on the top half. This one is, I will say, lower, yeah? Because of the funny angle of the picture, but it's not usually the case. Normally, you can see the eyes on the top part of the glasses, not in the middle part of the glasses, yeah? Also notice how close the bottom part of the glasses is to the flip of the nose, okay? So I think this is more or less the size in there. I am going to add the nose in there. When you do the nose, do it this way, if the nose is looking friendly. This is the area that gets burned when you go to sunbathing, to the beach, yeah? And then you have a plane on one side and another plane on the other side, where the nostrils, the flip of the noses are there. And then you can see a little bit of the bottom. You can see a little bit of the bottom, yeah? And this is where the nostrils are located, yeah? So I'm going to put that in there. I think the nose looks a little bit wider. that's the bottom part of the nose, that's this bit in here. I can see that shadow there. So you see, what I'm not doing, I'm not jumping from the glasses to the chin. I'm going from the glasses to the nose, and then from the bottom of the nose, what I think is the bottom of the nose, I'm using the shadow because that line is quite clear in the drawing. And then I'm going to put the mouth in there. Notice that the mouth is not smiling like this, slightly smiling down, yeah? And also remember to put the lips, because if you don't put the lips, you might misread the distances, because the lip is a measurement itself. Something like that. Now I can see another shadow here. And now I think more or less this area is where I think the chin should happen. It's not 100% sure, yeah? I'm not done yet, I just started. And I'm going to play with the things I do wrong and the things I do right, yeah? When you see the eyes, you don't see pupils, you don't see wrinkles, you don't see eyelashes, do you? So don't put them up, just concentrate on the planes and the lines. So the glasses go like this, more or less. I can see the side of the face doing more or less like that. I'm not 100% sure again. I can launch a vertical line there, and the middle part of the eye will tell me where the mouth finishes. So my mouth has to be slightly longer there. There's shadow there, a little bit of shadow there. Look at the eye in there. Again, when we think, our eyes happen like that. When you look, you can analyze the eyes a little better. The eyes are doing something like this, yeah? So don't let your brain take control. You can keep adjusting things and analyzing things, so keep doing so. To me, visually, that distance looks a little bit too big, so I need to go back to that one later on. Now, I need to know where that is. So if I do a vertical line in there, okay, that's going fine, I think. You can see the cheek happening a little bit more in there. A little bit of change in color here. Sometimes I do photocopies, or I can use marks on my paper. So if I do something like this, we were mentioning this in the class, I don't like grids because I'm lazy. I don't want to spend the time making the grid scale to the grid I use on the picture, but you can do this trick, yeah? And then just use the same lines in your drawing and try to match the lines. You have these two lines to what you see in there. So that line makes me realize I have to put that one slightly lower if I need to, yeah? So I'm using this line and this line for reference to where all the elements are located in each square, yeah? To what happens on the picture, if that makes sense. And don't worry if it doesn't look like the picture at the beginning, yeah? Okay? I think to start with, it's not perfect, but this is a nice starting point. So what I'm going to start doing now is blocking. So when you draw people, although we know this is a very light gray, it's not the white of the paper, is it? So we're going to just get rid of the white of the paper. You could actually work everywhere in the picture, yeah? So here it will be interesting to add those darks because it will help to bring volume and create volume into the picture, but we can do that anytime. And then I can start thinking about, okay, I see this area slightly darker, I see this area slightly darker, and I see that shape of shadow going like that, like this, like that, like this side of the nose, the very bottom of the nose, although this area is lighter than that one, but they are both in shadow. The neck as well, important, don't forget the neck. Shoulder. And then when I have this done, what I normally do is I use a torture, yeah, or blender. These are very, very old. The older, the better. Don't worry if everything disappears. It won't disappear completely. So now I'm going to just go slightly. Keeping the distances and adjusting things, make the most of the fact that everything is blurred to adjust if you need to. Keep the distances. Yeah. And also very important to step away from your drawing. To work out the feet on the flower area. If you decide to add the shadow in here, also add the shadow on this side. I'm going to build up the values a little bit more. Again, this is not perfect yet. I just want to keep adjusting. Okay, so I think now I'm going to start adding color. I'm going to just choose a few colors that I think that are going to work. When I talk about colors or I think about colors, you see that area of light is not actually happening. See, I'm adjusting as I go along. When I'm going back to colors, I don't choose colors that I think are sensibly fleshy colors. Because color and the flesh color behaves differently depending on who you are drawing. So where are they from, the environment. So you can see, I don't know, I'm going to show you this a little closer. There is a bit of cool sensation that's pastel in there. I can see a cool sensation in here, which I really like. And because of my training, I always see a little bit of that cool effect, purpley blue effect on the shadow area. Here I see a slightly warmer shadows. If you decide to do warmer shadows in that area, you might need to add a few of those warmer shadows on that area on the left as well. Otherwise, one shadow of one part of the face won't talk to the shadow on the other part of the face. So it has to be a relationship between the colors and the shadows happening in there. And at the same time we add colors and shadows in here, we need to start working a little bit very abstractly, because the main thing about this portrait is the face, is not the flowers, although the flowers are very eye-catchy. We need to keep jumping up and down and adding some of these colors of the face on the flower, otherwise they won't talk to each other. Yeah. So I'm going to carry on blocking. So I'm going to use this color. It's a very pale peachy color for the light, and maybe these two to start with for the shadow. Yeah. Again, don't trust me when we talk about colors, because my personal way of understanding color might be completely different. I'm sure it's completely different from your own way. So use the colors you feel you should use. So I can see block. Yeah, I'm using it on the side to block using planes. I can see a little bit of that light in there. I can see a little bit of that light happening there, a little bit of that light in there. So wherever you see a light, you just put it there. Now this color I'm using for the shadow, I'm using a lot less pressure than I use for the color I use for the light, because I want the color to blend a little bit with the charcoal underneath. Let me get rid of the light here. I'm going to carry on sketching as well as I'm sketching with pastels, so I keep adjusting things if I need to. I can go anytime back with the willow charcoal and keep readjusting and re-adding information every time I need to. Now, I don't know if you can feel, but I cannot add any more charcoal in there because I have too much pastel. If that happens, two things you need to do: either fix it so you can keep building up on top, or instead of using willow charcoal, you can move on to compressed charcoal, yeah? When you use pastels, you can mix them on the paper, yeah? Almost like color pencils. Okay? You can also use just a hatching effect and just the overlapping and by adding one color next to each other, the color will mix in the eye. When it comes to the teeth, if you look at the image, the value of the teeth is not different or not too different from the value of the skin. So don't go white. Yeah? The white is only going to be used to create a few highlights. You need to analyze this area here looks slightly darker than this area, so try to produce very subtle changes of the values when needed. Don't go too crazy with the contrast when there is not a lot of contrast happening on the face. And it doesn't really matter if at the beginning you don't see the face happening. Just enjoy, play with the proportions. The main thing is that you learn how to see. My first portraits were rubbish. So give yourself some time, play with the technique if you're not used to using pastel. Always remember to have a cushion, so at least 2-3 pieces of paper underneath, because if not you will feel the board too strongly and it's not a nice feeling. And also you can transfer the texture from the board on the paper unless you want the texture happening. You need to have a bit of a cushion there. I'm going to add a few of those colors. I normally work better if I'm standing, so find a way that you work more comfortably. When you stand, you tend to look farther. You tend to go away from the picture more often because you get tired of the position. So it's very important that every now and then you stop and look at it from the distance. Stop and look at it from the distance, so you can see how the whole is working.